Hello and welcome to the Matthew Wolfman podcast. So, today I'm going to be talking about snoring. Specifically, my snoring, which I only found out the other day, which I found out that I do a few days ago, or a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. And this was quite jarring in my head because I thought that I was a good breather, and I thought, I don't snore, I'm better than that. I practice breath work and I do this and I do that. And I go to the gym and I breathe and I do all these great things. And as it turns out, I still snore. I don't drink. I don't eat carbs. I thought that I was doing pretty good at keeping that one thing away. Not that I do all of these things, or anybody should do all of these things just to reduce snoring, but as a lovely byproduct of breathwork exercises, staying healthy, good breathing, all these nice things, great diet, you would think that those would add towards a reduction, or sorry, they would contribute towards a reduction in snoring. No. So, back to the drawing board a little bit with this one. So, to tackle it, my objective, rather, is to eliminate the snoring, to go from whatever the percentage is in the night to 0. And to do that, I will be adopting 3 protocols. The first, cutting out milk, cutting out cheese. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I want to cut out milk and cheese. So the first is, I've been advised that milk and cheese can make you phlegmy, mucousy. So, cow milk, cow cheese, to be specific. Not that I get milk from any other animal, but let's be specific. Cow milk, cow cheese. Cutting those things out, and I'll replace the cheese with nothing. And I'll replace the cow milk with oat milk. So back on the oat milk wagon, even though I've been drifting back onto that anyway recently. So I've been going like 50-50 with my kind of oat milk and cow milk. Oat milk's the treat, cow milk's just I need something other than water, so I'll have milk, skimmed milk. So replace the cow milk with oat milk, and replace the cheese with nothing. So, another reason why I want to cut out the cheese is I'm still struggling to lose some of my belly fat. Even though I'm hitting the gym and I'm doing all these lovely things, these lovely routines, I am still snacking on things before dinner. And I would say quite often I get home from work and then while I'm cooking dinner, I'll wrap pieces of ham in salad and cheese and just keep eating them. And then I'll have cheese on top of my dinner, and then I'll have a sprinkle of cheese on top of my lunch as well. And it's not a sprinkle, it's a big it's not a wedge because it's always grated, but it's a mound. A mound of cheese. Let's just say I have a mound of cheese with my lunch and my dinner. Let's let that settle in for a second. I don't have a sprinkle of cheese. I have a mound of cheese. Okay. So I'm going to remove that cheese from my diet for at least 30 days. I just want to see what happens. And hopefully, if I maintain everything else, meat, veg, having some fiber tablets, got all my vitamins, started having protein shake again, having a protein shake again. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens to my belly over the next 30 days with removal of cheese. I do get that I need to have some good fats coming into my diet, so I need to ponder on that. About where I'm getting my fats from. Don't know what the answer is to that right this second, but we can reverse. I'll come back to that another time. So that's the first protocol. Removal of the cheese and the milk. The second is to remind myself of the importance of nasal breathing, and not just through breathwork exercises in the morning and on an evening. This is critical for everything, to be nasal breathing throughout the day, constantly. Shut your mouth and breathe through your nose. And I know I'm out of practice because I've been consciously keeping my mouth closed recently, and I can feel the restriction in my nose. Whereas a year or two ago, I was really on it with my nasal breathing, just making a conscious effort all of the time to keep my mouth closed. And you just adapt, and your nose frees up, and your airflow just becomes easy, and you can exercise, not vigorously, but generally you can exercise quite well with your mouth closed. It's hard, don't get me wrong, it's really hard, and it can be quite uncomfortable at times, but you can do it. But just for general pottering around, here's a challenge actually. Go have a walk. Have a brisk 5-minute walk and keep your mouth closed, and see how you feel at the end of it if you're not practiced in nasal breathing. It's quite interesting how hard it is. So I need to get back on board the nasal breathing train, because if you're well practiced in the day, that will flow into the night time, and keeping your mouth closed does eliminate the snoring. So you want to be well practiced at breathing through your nose. You want to have clear airways. You won't have both. Both nostrils will never be completely clear, and that's just a natural way that your nasal, the way that the nose functions. But generally, you'll have, with good nasal breathing practice, you'll have good airflow, really good airflow. It takes a long time, takes a lot of practice, it's a lot of effort, but it's worth it. And there's so many other benefits that come with nasal breathing as well. So many other, just like the disease side of it, actually filtering out all the rubbish that comes into your body by shutting your mouth, because there's no filter there, you're just sucking in all the crap, and you've got that nice filter through your nose. So I need to be getting back into my nasal breathing practice. And then finally, This thing is my Himalayan salt pipe. Now, I love being by the sea so much, and it releases something really special in my head, and something really, there's such a step change in the way that I feel. And a lot of people say this as well. You feel so clear and fresh when you're by the seaside. And a lot of that is to do with the salt in the air. It's a natural cleanser. It's a natural way of detoxing your body. The salt air is really good for people with I can't pronounce it. With stuff like asthma. I can't list off all the different things because I don't know them, but like all different lung problems. but just being by the seaside can really reduce like inflammation and all sorts of lung problems that you might have. It just helps in so many different ways. And obviously I'm no doctor, because you can hear that I'm struggling to come sit here to articulate the benefits. But I've been listening to some different things on using these salt pipes, and for people with bronchitis and asthma and all these different things, they recommend, doctors, that you use something like this to just ease the pressure on your lungs, to just help with your breathing. And you get that naturally by the seaside. But in the absence of a seaside, you bring the seaside to you in the form of a Himalayan salt pipe. So I think you're meant to have it this way around, and you put the salt in the bottom here, fill it up with Himalayan salt. That's what the instructions say, to use the Himalayan salt. Put the little bung in the bottom there. There's lots of holes across the bottom. And then you just suck. In through the mouth, out through the nose. Not out through the mouth back into the pipe, because that will put moisture into the pipe, and then it'll just start making all the salt soggy and congeal together into one big block of salt. So in through the mouth, out through the nose. But I like to have it this way around, because then it reminds me of my granddad when he used to smoke his pipe. So I love this thing. So I've been doing it once in the morning for 5 minutes, once on an evening for 5 minutes. And what I've found is that I've had a really, really runny nose. It feels like I do feel, I did it this morning, and it made me feel relaxed, because just sitting there for 5 minutes of air in through the mouth, out through the nose, in through the mouth, out through the nose. That in itself is a good breathing exercise. And it allows you just to sit and just kind of get into a meditative state for 5 minutes anyway. So I did that prior to a breathwork exercise. So that just felt great anyway, sitting there. But I did feel, my lungs do feel better. Like it's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is. But I've noticed that my nose has been running a lot more as well. A lot more. And it feels like, well, the advice that I was given was that it would lift mucus off you and out of your lungs. So you may experience that kind of like increased like blowing of the nose and phlegminess in the short term, because it's lifting some of the mucus. It's like helping break it away from inside. So all in all, my experience has been really positive so far. Giving yourself that time in the morning, giving yourself that time to that 5 minutes in a morning and 5 minutes on an evening is really special anyway. So that's fun. It's a welcome addition to my morning routine. It felt like it set me up prior to the breathing exercise this morning. It just calmed me down a little bit more than I usually would be. So that was awesome. And hopefully that and the other two protocols. So what do we have? So the first one was removal of milk and cheese. The second one is increased practice with nasal breathing. And the third one is to suck on the Himalayan salt pipe twice a day for 5 minutes. So it'll be interesting to see how my snoring changes from now to in 30 days. And on my phone, it's got a thing that records how much you snore in the night, so I can measure a difference. So it's been recording it for the past couple of weeks, so I have a tangible measure that I can use to see the difference. So it's all good. It's a really, really fun thing to try. throughout the rest of August and carry this through September and see what difference it makes. So there we go. Thank you for listening. If you did enjoy this, please drop a like on the video. It really, really does help boost my confidence that I'm putting out content that's worthwhile putting out. Alternatively, if you've got any feedback or there's anything in this video that you're unsure of or disagree with, please drop something in the comments because I'd love to hear from you. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.